Kunja Vihari. Shri Shrimadbhagavatam Divine Grace Abhay Charana Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajkacharya Ashtottara Shri Shri Shrimadbhagavatam Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Mebidi Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Vrind Ki Jai. Grantharaj Shrimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Devasavan Mandir, ISKCON Detroit, Shrimadbhagavatam morning class. Today we are going to read from Canto 1, Chapter 11, Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwaraka, text 38. Let us start with invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayamudiraet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Devaki Nandanaya Cha. Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, titled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwaraka, text 38. Etad Ishanam Ishasya Etad Ishanam Ishasya Prakriti Sto prakritisto api tad gunai prakritisto api tad gunai nayujyate sadatmastyer nayujyate sadatmastyer yatha buddhis tadashraya yatha buddhis tadashraya etad ishanam ishasya prakritisto api tad gunai nayujyate sadatmastyer yatha buddhis tadashraya. Anyone would like to repeat? Etad ishanam ishasya prakritisto api tad gunai nayujyate sadatmastyer yatha buddhis tadashraya. Let us go word by word. Etad, this. Ishanam, divinity. Ishasya, of the personality of Godhead. Prakritista, being in contact with material nature. Api, in spite of. Tat gunai, by the qualities. Na, never. Yujyate, is affected. Sadatmastyai, but by those who are situated in eternity. Yatha, as is. Buddhi, intelligence. Tat, the Lord. Ashraya, those who are under shelter of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Sharanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Translation. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. So please repeat. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. Purport. In the Vedas and Vedic literatures, Shruti and Smriti, it is affirmed that in the divinity there is nothing material. He is transcendental, Nirguna only, the supreme cognizant, Hari, or the personality of Godhead. Is the supreme transcendental person situated beyond the range of material affection. These statements are also confirmed even by Acharya Shankara. One may argue that his relation with the goddess of fortune may be transcendental. But what about his relation with the Yadu dynasty? Being born in that family, or his killing the non-believers like Jarasandha and other asuras directly in contact with the modes of material nature? The answer is that the divinity of the personality of Godhead is never in contact with the qualities of material nature in any circumstances. Actually, he is in contact with such qualities because he is the ultimate source of everything. Yet he is above the actions of such qualities. He is known therefore as Yogeshwara, or the master of mystic power, or in other words, the all-powerful. Even his learned devotees are not affected by the influence of material modes. The great 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana all came from greatly rich and aristocratic families. But when they adopted the life of mendicants at Vrindavana, superficially they appeared to be in wretched conditions of life. But factually, they were the richest of all in spiritual values. Such Mahabhagavatas or first grade devotees, although moving amongst men, are not contaminated by honor or insult, hunger or satisfaction, sleep or wakefulness, which are resultant actions of three modes of material nature. Similarly, some of them are engaged in worldly dealings, yet are unaffected. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in a transcendence. The divinity and his associates are on the same transcendental plane, and their glories are always sanctified by the action of Yogamaya, or the internal potency of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord are always transcendental, even if they are sometimes found to have fallen in their behavior. The Lord emphatically declares in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 that even if an unalloyed devotee is found to be fallen due to previous material contamination, he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his being engaged 100% in the devotional service of the Lord. The Lord protects him always because of his rendering service unto him, and the fallen conditions are to be considered accidental and temporary. They will vanish in no time. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadat Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sagrajam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachare Nirvichesha Shunyavani Pashyata Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome to Devsan Mandir ISKCON Detroit. So today we are reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwaraka, Text 38. Let me go through translation once again. So this is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by material qualities. So yesterday we have seen how the common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached or he is aloof from material nature. So today, we're going to see the divinity of the Lord and the transcendental position of his devotees. So, as we see in this chapter, Krishna has returned to Dwarka cities and observing Krishna's extraordinary qualities, not just beauty or heroism, but his divinity, which is foremost important to understand Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And this verse explains what makes Krishna truly divine. And so the main theme of the question revolves around Krishna, who is born in a family, fights wars, kills demons, rules a kingdom. But yet, as it is said, Prakritosto apitat gunain ayujyate. He is never contaminated. Jai Shri Sri Radha Kundi Vihari, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baldev, Jai Subhadra Mai, Jai Shri Sri Radha Kundi Vihari. So today we're gonna see main sections like the divinity of the Lord, why Krishna is untouched by material nature, and next is like how devotees share this transcendental position by taking shelter of lotus feet of Sri Radha Kunj Bihari. And what does this means for our daily life in the material world? So first comes first is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. So the main theme here is like he's in contact, but yet he's uncontaminated. Oh, how is this possible? So let's see how the text is going on. So the main words in this is Prakritista api. So although situated within material nature, nayujyate, never bound or affected. Ishanam Ishasya. This is the unique opulence of the Supreme Lord. It's not something that we see like not escapism or not neutrality, but it's the supreme mastery of the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna or Sri Radha Kunj Bihari. So Nirguna does not mean inactive. And Srila Prabhupada clearly states that Nirguna is not something of having no qualities, but Nirguna is having qualities which are beyond material qualities. And Krishna acts through his internal potency, Yogamaya or Mahamaya, but not Mahamaya. Mahamaya is like external potency and she controls the material world. So Krishna is acting through his internal potency and Yogamaya takes care takes how Krishna appears in this world, and all this material nature and works under the indirect supervision of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And as we see in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya Dyakshana Prakriti, as Krishna says, like material nature works under my supervision, Krishna's supervision. So Shankaracharya himself accepts that Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is transcendental. Even his worldly dealings are spiritual. So the main highlight of the moment is like Krishna touching matter does not make him material. Matter touching Krishna becomes spiritual. As we see the power of holy name, which cleanses the heart of the mind and reveals our own identity. It spiritualizes our body and entire our life itself. So that, and the holy name is not different from Krishna. So anything that in this material world that comes in contact with Krishna, it immediately becomes spiritualized. And we see the example of prasad also. So how we made the bhoga offerings and we offer it to the Supreme Lord. Then after the offering is done, then we take the remnants of this from the Supreme Personality of God. Then it becomes spiritualized food or sanctified food. So which is very beneficial for all of us, and it is advised to honor it. So, I would like to quote a small analogy over here, like sun and contamination. We know that sunlight is spread all over the earth, not even a single place is escaping from sun. So even in the contaminated areas where the water is dirty or something like that, even there sunlight gets striked upon the place. But even as we know, like excessive heat evaporates the water, so even the contaminated zone as well, the water gets evaporated, but still the sun doesn't get that contamination. Sun, he himself remains pure. Similarly, Krishna creates, maintains and destroys this whole material world, but still he is not affected by anything, any single thing of this material world. So, also here we have seen in the purport as Krishna has been stated as Yogeshwara. He is the master of mystic power. He is always the controller, and he is never being controlled by anything. Even when he appears that he was bound by Yashoda, it's actually he gets bind to her love, to pure love of the devotee. Supreme Lord will be binded upon. So only he himself gets binded, or he himself gets bent towards his devotees and his pure love towards him. So next comes is like the divinity of Lord's devotees. The whole theme is like shelter determines the influence. So just as Krishna is unaffected, similarly, yatha, devotees under his shelter are unaffected. It's not an imitation, it's just our sincere participation or sincere endeavors through our surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Shrimadbhagavatam. So, when we in this material world, we see surrender in a very negative way, because when someone is trying to harm you or something, they try to make you surrender, or to show the supremacy on you or supreme power on you, they try to make you surrender. But in terms of divinity or transcendental shelter, it's not that external affliction, but the true shelter means like following the 9 devotional processes like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and the service or seva with dependence entirely on Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Sri Radha Kunj Bihari. So we render our humble service to Sri Krishna, and we completely depend on his mercy. Then it is called Atma Nivedana, or complete surrender. So, or Sharanagati. Even in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 14, text 26, we see like one who engages in unalloyed devotional service transcends the modes of material nature at once. And we also see the very good example of our 6 Goswamis from Purport, who are born in a wealthy family, aristocratic family, and having a very great political power, but still they lived as a very low-level common man, and they actually have even though they have the material opulences, material riches, they were not attached to it, but in turn, they developed the spiritual richness among them. They had the spiritual treasure among them. So that's the reason how the 6 Goswamis were very surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Supreme Personality of Godhead as well. So that increases the taste for bhakti, and also the sincere, we know how sincere the Goswamis are and how pure they are. So it's very fortunate for us to get to know all of this Acharya's pastimes, and also Shrimadbhagavatam in our convenient English language. So we have to be very thankful to our Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada for giving us Shrimadbhagavatam, which can relish the entire our life. So the neutralities of transcendence, as Srila Prabhupada lists, is like honor, dishonor, hunger, satisfaction, sleep, wakefulness. These do not disturb the heart of a Mahabhagavata, because he knows that in this world everything is like dualities will be there: happiness and distress, honor, dishonor, hunger and satisfaction, sleep and wakefulness. He knows this, all the material miseries. He only wishes to have to be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and try to render his service in whatever means the Krishna could like from him. So, even in it is mentioned here in Bhagavad Gita 9.30, even if a devotee sometime or temporarily falls due to his previous conditioning, he is still considered as a sadhu or saintly person, because we don't know what's their what's their past deeds and what they have done, what's the reason behind that fall down. And we should not judge just simply by some instance for a shorter period of time, because their conditioning you don't know. But still, Krishna himself says like he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his being 100% engaged in devotional service of the Lord. So, and the one more thing, very important thing to note is like we should avoid Vaishnava aparad, and we should not judge the devotion by just some small incidents or for a small short period of time, because they might be doing something that you don't even imagine, or that you don't know what's the purpose of it. And okay, it's, even though if they have done anything wrong, Krishna would take care of it. We are not the ones who can take care of it, or you are not the one who is controlling everyone over in this material world. So we are least bothered among and about the activities of the other saintly personalities or other pure devotees. So we should not. We can. If you think they are like not doing their devotional service properly, you can direct them to your higher authorities, like higher devotees or higher saintly personalities like spiritual masters or our acharyas. But you are not, because we are still, like everyone are still in the process of purification, and if we commit more and more sins in this time, it will be more and more entangled in this material world, and judging someone with their some temporary activities, it's not quite a good thing. So then next comes is like living in the world without being disturbed by. Bhakti is insulation, it's not isolation. So analogy here is like a person who is struck in blind well. He cannot come out because everything is dark and he fall down in a well, and he needs help from someone outside. So only someone from outside can pull him out. So similarly, we conditioned souls in this material world cannot save the other conditioned souls, because we ourselves, we are trying to get out of this material world and get out from the cycle of birth and death. So we have to take the help of some expert, some saintly personalities or senior devotees who are practicing for many long years Krishna consciousness. They will be helpful to guide you, and also how to render the devotional service in a humble, sweet manner. So it is very important. So how to approach them, and how submissively should we approach them, and how to inquire from them, and how to serve them in order to acquire the mercy of the saintly personalities and their association. Even a fraction of a second of their association can advance us much more than we think. So only Krishna or his pure devotees can uplift us from this material world. And devotees in this world, some devotees like who are following Grihastha ashrama, they do work jobs, and they raise families, they handle money, they do all tasks, also devotional service, but yet they are not driven by modes, and their identity is not based suffering. So they are completely relishing in Krishna consciousness, and they were happily engaging in the service of Supreme Lord Sri Radhakunya Bihari or Sri Krishna. So nothing, even though they get some little trouble in handling money or in the office or in the family, but still when they take the shelter of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna's lotus feet, then they will be having the firm faith in the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna that, okay, the problem that I might have gotten is very big, but due to the mercy of Krishna, I got a very little problem, and so I will make my attempt to solve the problem, but I will pray to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna to give me right intelligence in handling this problem, and they take that shelter of lotus feet of Krishna and the help of their senior devotees in order to tackle that problem. And here the main difference we observe is in consciousness, but not the situation. Situations will be similar to everyone, but how conscious are you acting upon that situation matters a lot when we compare normal people with devotees. So one of the practical application for sadhakas is like we may still experience some work pressures or some other life situation pressure, emotions, challenges, but if we take the help of or support of the bhakti, it gives us the inner stability, long-term vision and spiritual immunity, so that you won't be easily falling into the trap of Maya or material world again. And we also see in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text 14, Matra Sparshvastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukadukada Agama Payano Nityastam Titikshvasuka Bharata. So in that, it's how the living entity should be tolerant enough, Krishna reveals himself. So the tolerance is been a very significant character that we have to imbibe in ourselves at each and every point of our life, because we may face many situations that are not favorable to us, but still if you are tolerant, as we even see in Sikshastakam, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna, being patient as the blade of grass and tolerant as tree. So how tolerant is that the tree bearing all the sometimes stones even in order to get the fruit. Some people throw stones on the trees, and sometimes they even cut the bark of the tree. So many, but still the patient and tolerance of trees commendable. So the main difference between the Yogamaya and Mahamaya is like devotees live under the internal potency of the Lord, or Yogamaya. She is very favorable to the devotees, and she makes circumstances to devotees very friendly and favorable. And in case of Mahamaya, she gives us more and more troubles in like if we do not surrender to Krishna, or if we turn away from Krishna, then our miseries, all our problems, everything will come one after the other. As soon as you solve one problem, other problem will be ready to approach you. So Maya Devi tries to instigate you at least through that way. If you are realizing why I am suffering like this, if you try to inquire, like Atato Brahma Jignasa, if you try to inquire why I am suffering, who am I? So slowly you would turn to Krishna. But still, even though if we face many kicks from Maya Devi, we still see like, oh, I'm enjoying here, I'm enjoying there, I'm suffering here, that's okay, but I'm still getting enjoyment from this source, that source, which is even temporary, but still we are trying to enjoy that. So I would like to conclude today's verse by stating a few summaries. Like Krishna in this world, even though he descends in this world, but still he is above all this material world and all cosmic manifestation, because he is unattached, or he is fully renunciate of his own creation. And even though he has all riches, all opulences, but still he is unattached to anything. He is just attached to his devotees and their pure love. And devotees live in this material world, but still they belong to Krishna. And wherever the devotees, the pure devotees reside, it's nonetheless compared to spiritual world. So it's equal to spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, where they continuously engage in the service of Lord. So some of the key takeaways from today's verse is divinity means unaffected mastery, not the withdrawal from the process. Bhakti makes our life sustainable and not an escapist. And shelter of Krishna determines our freedom from modes. And temporary fall downs do not negate sincere devotion. And true spirituality means like attaining inner transcendence and detaching from outer engagements like material world or mundane engagements. So I would like to conclude today's verse by these takeaways. And if you have any questions, comments, and sorry if I misspoke anything.
Thank you for a wonderful verse. It was nice. And the sun, how it shines, it was very nicely represented. And may the clouds try to cover it, but it's still there. The sun is doing its thing.
Yeah, it's like even though he emits his light on some contaminated area or some unhygiene area, even the water is evaporated into the sky, but still sun gets not affected through it. That doesn't directly affect sun, because sun is equal to everyone and he is pure, in emitting the light. So similarly Krishna is like that. Even though he is in the material world, but still he is not affected by anything of that. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।